Okay, we are starting from inside the beast now. Pretty roomy in here, actually, for a little smart car. All the room in the world, except it doesn't have a back seat. That's what makes it so small on the outside. Anyway, okay, there's the sheep range. And the reason that we're starting inside the car is that the wind is so great that it's going to be hard to be heard once I get out there in the wind. And what I want to do is explain what we're going to do today. So, there you see, here's the Desert National Wildlife Refuge Visitor Center. We're in the parking lot here. And behind the visitor center, there is the sheep range. And let's look around what else we see. There's Yucca Gap and Fossil Ridge. And then looking around, there's Gas Peak. And then behind us, you could look across the valley and see the Mount Charleston Wilderness. We saw all that in other videos from the sheep range area, so I won't show that again. Besides, all you'll see is the bike up against let me show you. So nice and roomy in this car, and there's the bike on its bike rack, the Silver Bullet on the back of the beast. Okay, so what we're going to do today, there's the directional sign right up ahead that gives the road. It just gives all the directional signs for the roads out here. 150, 200 miles of unpaved roads in the Desert National Wildlife Refuge. 4-wheel drive roads, so bring your 4-wheel drive or bring your own Silver Bullet bicycle. And so at that directional sign, there are two main arteries. One is to the right. We took that last week, which was Mormon Well Road. And we took that through the Yucca Gap up here between Fossil Ridge and the southern part of the sheep range, the southern tip of the sheep range. And then we went around I could call it the back side of the sheep range. It's actually, if you want to be more technical, it's the east side. We're west, on the west side of the sheep range. I'll call it the front because it looks like the front because normally you're riding up and down I-95, and this is the side of the sheep range most people see unless you have a 4-wheel drive or a mountain bike. And I don't think many people do mountain bikes on the sheep range roads out here. Anyway, so we're going across the front, the west side of the sheep range, on the other artery. Like I mentioned, two main arteries. One is Mormon Well Road, which goes around the south end of the sheep range through Yucca Gap, and then heads along the east side of the sheep range. Okay, Alamo Road is the other main artery. That takes a left immediately at this directional sign up here. So you take a left, you go Alamo Road, and that'll take you along the front of the sheep range, or the west side. And one of the goals that we have here eventually is, you see up in this area, a high point. Now, I don't know if this is exactly the high point that I'm going to name, but I do know that there is a high point called Sheep Peak. And that looks like it could be a candidate, or maybe it's over this way a little bit more. Anyway, it is possible, theoretically, to go down Alamo Road, take a right, and head to a trailhead for Sheep Peak, ferry the bicycle up Sheep Peak and down the other side. There should be trails, theoretically, and then head down Pine Nut Road and Mormon Well Road. So it'd be an amazing circuit that I don't think anyone's ever done before, but we're gonna aim for that, not today, but eventually this fall or next spring. We're gonna see if we can do that. This is our first trip today along the west side of the sheep range, along Alamo Road. So we're going to skirt this front west side of the sheep range, and we're just going to look for roads and trailheads at this point, and approaches to the summit area, and just see how far we can get. The wind, the reason I'm inside the beast here making this recording again is because the wind is so strong out there. And so it looks to me, as I look at the plants out here that are blowing in the wind, it looks to me like I'll be going against the wind and uphill in the beginning. So I don't know how far I'm going to get, but I'm going to see if I can take that Silver Bullet mountain bike as far as I can along Alamo Road before either I poop out or the bike poops out, or the wind brings me to a sudden standstill. We'll see how far we get, but I hope I get far enough at least to see the approach road to the Sheep Peak trailhead. Okay, and last week, of course, we went up Mormon Well Road. We went along the other side of the sheep range, the east side, and we reached Pine Nut Road, which is the approach road on the other side of the sheep range to Sheep Peak. And there's a trailhead at the end of Pine Nut Road. So it looks like this is possible to do a grand circuit in the sheep range. Anyway, now we're taking the Alamo Road approach just to see where things connect on this side of the sheep range. Never been on Alamo Road before. Should be fun. What an adventure. Okay, here we go. Well, here's some good news. On the way, we're heading down Alamo Road. On the way, the wind is at our back as we're going uphill. Pretty nice. When does that ever happen? And then on the way back, as we're going downhill, the wind's going to be against us. It miraculously changes direction. So anyway, here we go. Taking a left on Alamo Road and Alamo Road. See what we can find up there. And there's the sheep range. I mentioned that the Mount Charleston Wilderness is on the other side of the valley. And there it is. Rocky Mountain right in the center there. Okay, let's get going. Okay, we're heading down Alamo Road, and there's the sheep range. I'm trying to shield the microphone from the wind. And this road is, I would say, much more solid than Mormon Well Road. There's a little washboard action, which makes it a bumpy ride, but we're not sinking into gravel. So already I'm liking this more. It's fairly level. At some point, though, when we turn up toward the sheep range, of course, there's going to be a lot of uphill going up that alluvial fan up there, those deposits that have washed down out of the range and created quite an incline. But for now, it's clear going. I've got the wind at my back, and let's just continue on, see how we do. And here's the 360-degree view. Looking north. Now we're starting to look across the valley. If you look carefully, you can see Kyle Canyon Road. There it is, heading up toward Mount Charleston Wilderness. That may not be Kyle Canyon Road, actually. It might be Snow Mountain area. Not sure. Anyway, one thing I can say is, oh, that may be Lee Canyon Road. Who knows? I don't know what it is. But one thing I do know is there is Mummy Mountain. And then Mount Charleston Observatory. You can barely see it up there, hidden in the clouds. And most of the Mount Charleston Wilderness are hidden in the clouds. Come around. And here you see La Madre Mountain. Looking back up Alamo Road the way we came, over to Gas Peak, yeah, there we go, Gas Peak. I yell when there's wind, and so when the wind stops, it's going to seem like I'm yelling into the video, but, well, what can I say? And then we've got Fossil Ridge, Yucca Gap, and then Sheep Range, and a creosote bush in the foreground. Okay, let's continue on down this washboard but firm road. Alamo Road. We've made the intersection of Joe May Road and Alamo Road. And Joe May Road may be one of those roads that takes you up to trailheads that will lead to Sheep Peak. I'll find out later. But as you look at the sheep range here, and we look a little more closely up ahead, you can see faintly where Joe May Road continues to the base of the sheep range, and then there we are at some approach points. So we'll remember that. It took us about half hour, 40 minutes to get to this point. So it's good to know at least what the time factor is getting out here. I'm sure if we took Joe May Road, it's going to be a lot rockier than Alamo Road. And by the way, Alamo Road has turned out to be pretty firm in places, but then there are places where the mountain wash kind of crosses the road that turns it into deeper gravel and makes it a little harder to travel. But I still have the wind basically at my back, and the road is, I would say Alamo Road is, it looks like this is looking back, and you can see how we've ascended. So it is a gradual ascent, which is good news, because that means on the way back we'll be descending, and a little bit against the wind. And then we look over here. There we have Gas Peak. You can see the western eastern and the mid summit, and the area between the western and eastern summit is what I call the Gas Peak Gauntlet, which is avalanche slopes right along the side of the mountain. It's pretty gruesome, but it's fun to take that. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, at some point I'll head up Joe May Road and see if we can find trailheads up there that will lead us up to Sheep Peak. But I want to go a little further, and well, maybe a lot further, just see how far I can get today on Alamo Road, so we can check out the various possibilities on this road. So here we go, continuing on up Alamo Road. But here you can see Alamo Road continuing, and there's the beast. I mean the silver bullet. There we go. And looking across the valley, you see the Mount Charleston Wilderness area, and then La Madre Mountains coming into view over here. Here's Alamo Road. We just came up this section, continuing to pan around. There you can see a great shot of Gas Peak. And of course, here you've got, I believe this is Fossil Ridge. Not certain, maybe not actually, because Fossil Ridge needs to be in the Yucca Gap, which skirts the southern edge of the Sheep Range. Here is the Sheep Range, which we have traversed the entire western span of the Sheep Range. And the reason I'm stopping here is that at some point, perhaps there is a road, I think there's a road up ahead that could lead through a pass up here. We don't know where it comes out yet, but we'll check it out on the map later. Anyway, here we are, middle of nowhere. I have not seen one car on this road the entire day. So, pretty good solitude. The road is alternately hard and smooth, hard and washboardy. It really scrambles your brains. Or in places, semi-deep gravel, which bogs the bike down. So it's not any land speed record to get to this point, but it's doable. So we're going to continue on up Alamo Road, and we're going to see where the next split off is. I think there's something like Cow Creek Road up ahead. So, and that's a 12-mile point. By the way, we have gone about an hour and 5 minutes if you take away the time for the videos. So definitely traversing the west side of the Sheep Range on Alamo Road is much more rapid than taking Mormon Well Road and going along the west side of the Sheep Range. It took me 5 hours to get not even to the northern point of the Sheep Range on Mormon Well Road last week, and we're just a little over an hour. We've already hit the northern edge of the Sheep Range. So, but there are very few points of entrance into the Sheep Range. As you look up into the range. The highest point would be Sheep Peak. And I still don't know exactly which one is Sheep Peak. There's a peak up there. That could be it. And it looks to me like Joe May Road is going to be the approach to go up Sheep Peak and over the Sheep Range and back down the other side, hit Pine Nut Road and then Mormon Well Road and continue on around. And that would be the direction I would go. So I could go downhill on Mormon Well Road, which is pretty gruesome if you're trying to go uphill. So anyway, that gives you an idea. Desert National Wildlife Refuge, Sheep Range, and now we're on the west side of the Sheep Range. Okay, Alamo Road is circling around now, and it looks like we're going through a pass, potentially, around the northern side of the Sheep Range. There's the Sheep Range. So, who knows where this is going to come out. Yeah, I got a chicken map, I know. But I know that eventually one would reach Highway 93 and the Farragut National Wildlife Preserve if you continued a long, long way along here. I'm definitely not going to do that today, but I do want to follow a little further. The wind around here has really shifted so much that I don't know if to be against the wind or with the wind on the return trip. That should be an interesting thing. And there is Alamo Road heading back the direction I came. There's the you can still see the tip of Gas Peak. There we are. Oh, let's try that again. That'd be more right there in the center. Gas Peak. And then the entire eastern side of the Sheep Range. And Alamo Road continuing. I'll just go turn around. We're now at the intersection of Alamo Road and Cow Camp Road, and it took us about 2 hours to get here, and I know this is 12 miles, so last week it took 5 hours to go 15 miles, so Alamo Road is a lot faster than Mormon Well Road. And here you have the Sheep Range from this perspective. Alamo Road goes around the northern end of the Sheep Range, and what you're looking at here, of course, the high points. There's a high point of Sheep Peak, and that's somewhere right in this area. And Cow Camp Road is a way to get up there. As you can see, the wind is the wind is really picked up. Here you see where the split off is between Mormon Well and Cow Camp Road. And then Cow Camp Road heads up in this direction, goes through that ridge. There must be a pass up there, and then over to the Sheep Range, and then I believe there's a trailhead up there. We'll look at the map when we get back, and I'll describe what I see on the map on a page of Las Vegas, on the Sheep Range Alamo Road page. And here we are looking back down Alamo Road in the direction we came. Strong wind that we're going to be fighting on the way back. So that should be delightful. And here's the 360-degree view. We'll go a little further, maybe 15 minutes or so, and then make a turnaround, because I think that the return trip is going slower than the trip on the way. Here we are in the sheep range, looking across now at the Mount Charleston Wilderness and La Madre Mountain Wilderness. Mount Charleston Wilderness on the right, La Madre Mountain Wilderness on the left. Okay, that's about all that there is out here to talk about. We are definitely in the middle of nowhere, but beautiful solitude out here. Largely untouched desert area. I've had maybe 5 cars pass, and that's all I've seen this whole 2 hours so far. Okay, onward. Okay, we're back. That was about a 3.5-hour round trip, if I don't take a whole lot of videos. A 3.5-hour round trip to Cow Camp Road, and we passed Joe May Road in about 40 minutes, and then Cow Camp Road at about the 2.5-hour point. 1 hour for the return because it's mostly downhill. And what this leaves is an additional 4 hours to explore up in the sheep range. So I could take Joe May Road up toward the sheep range and see if there's a trailhead there that leads to Sheep Peak or Cow Camp Road. And hopefully Joe May Road will come through for me, because that would give me enough time to do everything that I need to do to get over the top of the sheep range and down the other side. But we will find out. Anyway, another great adventure today, Alamo Road, and I think I'm going to hit Hidden Forest Road at some point. Next week we're going to go up Gas Peak Road and hit the Gas Peak trailhead. So those are some of the main roads in the sheep range, the Desert National Wildlife Refuge, and we'll begin to work on the tributary roads after that, and then up into the mountains. I've learned some things about holding this backpack on the bike. It takes actually 4 bungee cords to really hold it. 2 bungee cords and it slips to the right or the left, and I hear a rubbing of the tire, and that's no good because it slows the bike down, plus it could wear a hole in the backpack. But 4 bungee cords pretty much holds it where it needs to be. It's just a matter always of just having the extra bungee cords on hand, having a good bike rack that is sturdy. This one will hold up to 50 pounds, and my backpack weighs probably 20 pounds tops, 25 if I've got my water container full of water. But anyway, yeah, learning as we go. We're learning how to pack this bike for hitting a trailhead and then ferrying it over a mountain range. So a lot of adventures coming up in the next few months. I think I've got a solution for descending those rough, washboardy, unpaved roads, and going down at those roads at quite a speed on this bike. As I hold the handlebars, my hand gets numb, or my hands, both of them, get numb because of all the jarring and the shaking. And so with this back rack came a little protector that you put around the handlebar to protect the window of the car, and it looks pretty much like this. In fact, this is it. This is another one of them, and I could actually place those around the end of the handlebar and use them for cushion on these hard, unpaved, rocky roads as I'm descending, and just jarring my hands to death. So I'm going to try that next time. The only question is, will I have enough of a grip, or will they slip off and then I'll have a bigger problem wiping out on those roads? But we're going to try it. I think that it could actually work. So anyway, that's another little trick. Learning a lot of tricks for this mountain bike traveling on unpaved roads. And here is the silver bullet on the back of the beast, ready for the ride home.